Shalom. All praise to the Most High Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect out there. To you brothers who's pushing this gospel to the four corners of the earth. And you few sisters out there and you young children who believe in this gospel. Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, said he was. Shalom. It's your brother Artazawan Bayath. And I'm going to make it real quick. Just a little article I found. Okay. From MSN yesterday. Saw this article and I said, you know what, I'll just go into a little lesson on it, okay? And we'll read the article and get a few scriptures and that'll be that, okay? But I found it interesting that in the current times in which we're living, okay, and over the past, 2 months or so, this whole idea of Ye and Kyrie Irving and what was the name of that movie? Hebrews to Negroes, or whatever that movie was. The whole idea of all the attention that's been put on the Israelites, really. Okay, that now hear this story from MSN, story by so-called Jerusalem Post staff, where it says written records of biblical King David discovered by researchers. And these people already know. I mean, they didn't really discover anything. They've got all this stuff in their possession already, okay? But we are living in these current days and times where the truth of the Lord is going to manifest, and they can't hide it. Okay, the Spirit of the Lord is moving in the earth, and all truth will be told. Okay, so with that, let's go into the article here. It says the Misha Steel, also called the Moabite stone, is a basalt stone slab that has provided historians and linguists with the largest source of the Moabite language to date. Now they call it the Moabite language, all right, but we know that it is really with ancient Paleo-Hebrew, okay? And sometimes it's called biblical block Hebrew, or they call it Phoenician style script Hebrew. You know, they got various different names, but we know that it is the Paleo-Hebrew. All right. Going on, it says researchers have only now been able to verify with a considerable degree of certainty that the stele contains explicit reference to King David. All right, and we can see right here, Da or Da, right here, if I'm not mistaken. All right. So let's go down a little bit further. And it says the stele was discovered in fragments in 1868, roughly 15 miles east of the Dead Sea, and currently resides in Louvre Museum in Paris. While it was damaged in 1869, a papier-mâché impression of the inscription was captured before the damage occurred. The slab is etched with a lengthy account of King Mashah of Moab going to war with Israel. The events described corresponded, albeit imprecisely, with a similar account in 2 Kings chapter 3. The house of David, all right, the text contains allusions of the Israelite God as well as the house of David and the altar of David. However, until today, scholars could not be entirely sure that these references of King David were being correctly deciphered. And sure, you know, you've got people that could actually read it. you have to understand, Slakia, you have to understand that there are people who in the media, they know what's going on, okay? And they try to be real coy about matters today and try to act like that it's a new discovery. Oh, we've recently found someone who can decipher what the tablet is saying. No, there's plenty of people who can read it. All right. Goes on to say that the Moabite phrase House of David consists of 5 letters, BTDWA, bit as similar as today's Hebrew word for house, which is bayat. They got an I here, but that's not how you spell it, which is bit in its construct form, and DWD, which is dawadah or dawadah, can be thought of like modern Hebrew Daled Vav, okay, and that's really that Yiddish. The letter in this case is actually Wa, Daled, which spells the name David, okay. Goes on, until now, only the first and fourth letters of the series BT and WAW were completely clear. In a late 2022 article entitled Mishah's Stele and the House of David in the winter issue of Biblical Archaeology Review, researchers Andre Lemire and Jean-Philippe Delorme re-examined the evidence. They write, in 2015, a team from the West Semitic research project of the University of Southern California took new digital photographs of both the restored stela and the paper squeezed. The team used a method called reflectance transformation imaging, in which numerous digital images are taken of an artifact from different angles and then combined to create a precise 3-dimensional digital rendering of the piece. This method is especially valuable because the digital rendering allows researchers to control the lighting of an inscribed artifact so that hidden, faint, or worn in sessions become visible. More recently, in 2018, the Louvre took these new high-resolution pictures and projected light onto them, coming directly through the 150-year-old squeezed paper. Thus, researchers were able to glean a much clearer picture of the ancient records. This explains Lemire and Delorme is how they were able to see evidence of the other 3 letters, T-A-W, like modern Hebrew, T-A-V. You see in Paleo Hebrew, there's no V, all right? Let's see here. And they just have the Encyclopedia Britannica. You can go into that, but just found this a little bit interesting as to the climate of today when it comes to those small hats, right? But they can't do anything against the truth. The truth is going to come out, right? So all the things written in the scriptures are going to come to pass. There's no doubt about that. So here's a better view of it. Okay, and you can see the ah. Okay, you can see the tha, the da, wa, da, ha. Okay, which are these letters here. Okay, as it says at the top, it says ancient Hebrew alphabet, right? So you see it right here, da, and it'll be like this, wa, da, David, as they say in English, okay? But these are the characters. It's 22 characters. All right, so proving really that this is the ancient language. Okay. So with that, we know that the Lord has made a promise unto his children. We get done serving our punishment, man. We're going to be back in power. The Lord is going to build up the breaches. Okay. Yahweh Shai is on the throne in the heavens. Okay. And it won't be long now. All the truth is surfacing. Okay. Let's get a few quick scriptures here and we'll be done. All right. This is Jeremiah 30, and we start right there at the top. Okay, it says deliverance from captivity promised. Okay, and the Lord said he was going to rebuild everything for us. Okay, bringing us all back together, gathering us from all these nations where we were scattered and being called all these different names and so on and so forth. All right, so let's get to it. Jeremiah 30:1, it says, the word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord Yahweh, saying, thus speaketh the Lord Yahweh, power of Israel, saying, write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. For lo, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah, both northern kingdom and southern kingdom, saith the Lord, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. Right? That's part of our promise, right? That's what you call an inheritance. You see? And these are the words that the Lord Yahweh spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. But thus saith the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. As ye now see whether a man do travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Alas, for that day is great, so that there is none like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it, right? The remnant of the Lord shall be saved. And we're coming into another time, right? Because there were times in the past where Israel suffered great loss, great death, and trouble, right? Behind the hands of the Edomites, all right? The Romans, besieging on Jerusalem. And so we're coming into another day, right, in this last captivity. All right. Verse 10, therefore fear thee not. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord Yahweh, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. For I am with thee, saith the Lord Yahweh, to save thee. Though I make a full end of all nations whither I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and I will not leave thee altogether unpunished. You see? So we go through our thing, but we are rest assured, so long as you are a repentant soul, and Lord willing, we're part of the elect, all right, we get delivered, right, and come into the beauty of the promises made, okay, through Yahweh Shai. Okay, I think that's all I wanted to get out of that. Let's go over to Hosea real quick. And it says Hosea's second symbolic marriage, right? Because that's what we learned in the Gospels, and we'll get one of those here shortly. All right, the bridegroom, right, and the bride, okay? It's symbolism of marriage. Okay, so we'll just jump right to it here in Hosea 3 and 4, and it says, for the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without teraphim. Afterward shall the children of Israel return and seek the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua their power, and David their king, and shall fear the Lord Yahweh and his goodness in the latter days. Right. King David will be once again on the earth in power. Okay, whether there are those out there who can receive it or not. All right? Everything will be put back in its proper order. Heavenly Father, Yahushua, King David, faithful 144,000, and all the rest of the elect 1/3, okay? All right, and then you 2/3 will come back in the nation, all right, through procreation, and all you other nations will be subject to the Israelites. That's going to be the kingdom, okay? Matthew 25:1, and it reads, "Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom." Slakia. Sometimes when you're messing with these electronic things, they kind of get a mind of their own, just jump all over the place. Verse 2, "And 5 of them were wise and 5 were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps, while the bridegroom tarried. They all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you, but go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves." And that's pretty much what we say to all you naysayers out there today, as we wait on Yahushua's return, and you got the opportunity to learn this word, to get some wisdom and understanding, and most of all, repent, okay? But you think you got more time, so you want to stay in the world and dilly-dally and fool around and all that kind of thing. You're being very unwise, and you're going to get caught napping, okay? And that day is going to come where the men of the Lord will no longer be preaching, all right? We'll tell you to go, hey, go out there for yourself and get what you need. Don't come to us now. Don't come to the men of the Lord now. You had an opportunity and you blew it, right? Because we're the bride and we're waiting on the bridegroom. We're trimming our wicks, right? We're keeping this oil, this wisdom, this knowledge, okay? And those unwise are the ones who will eventually be destroyed, okay? And this is set to happen. You're seeing it on a daily basis, okay? Just like these small hats are putting this information out here now, right? So let's go on and finish this out real quick. Verse 9, "But the wise answer, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you, but go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came? And they that were ready went with him to the marriage, and the door was shut." The door of mercy is shutting, all right, today, right? As we go on, the closer we get, the more that door closes. Verse 11, "Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not." So what you supposed to do? "Watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh," right? Teaching you by a parable, okay? Those that are wise, got the oil right now, and those of you who feel like, oh, there's some more things in the world I want to do. You know, you worried about traveling, you worried about going to the NBA All-Star game, or you worried about this and that, okay? You worried about all these other different things, okay, when this is your opportunity right now to get right, all right? So let's go over here, look at this a little bit. This is Acts 15, and we'll read a little bit about how the Lord had promised, okay, the closing of the breaches and bringing us back, okay? and the fact that, yeah, King David is going to be on the scene. All right. And you never hear these small hats talk about any of the prophecies, right? They just say that you can't talk about them. So that's how you know that they're not the real people, okay? So this is Acts 15 and 13, and it reads, and after they had held their peace, James answered, saying, men and brethren, hearken unto me. So who's James, men and brethren? The Israelites, okay? Simeon had declared how the Most High at the first did visit the Gentiles to take out of them a people for his name. All right, so you got to have the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Verse 15, and to this agree the words of the prophets as it is written. So we stop right there real quick. So when it says what? As it is written, where was it written at? Right? For all you Christians out there who say that the Old Testament doesn't matter. So here you're reading in the New Testament, in the book of Acts, the Acts of the Apostles, right? Speaking of as it is written, so where would it be written? If the New Testament is all that matters, and you're not looking at the whole book, where was it written? All right, that's just a question for you black church Christians out there. Going on to verse 16. After this, I will return, and I will build again the tabernacle of David, which is fallen down, and I will build again the ruins thereof, and I will set it up. You're watching the tabernacle of David being built now with the men, right? With the repentant soul, with the remnant that the Lord is gathering out of all the nations. Okay? Verse 17, that the residue of men might seek after the Lord, and all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called, said the Lord, who doeth all these things. And the Gentiles are what? The scattered Israelites, those who did not know that they were of Israel, of the stock of Israel, right? But was born into all these other little, nations, these little seaside countries and so on and so forth back in those days. And were living as with the customs of the other heathens. Okay, and they did not realize that they were from the stock of Abraham, all right, that they were the Israelites because they were born in those ways. Okay, so that's the Gentile. Verse 18, known unto the Most High are all his works from the beginning of the world. Wherefore my sentence is that we trouble not them which from among the Gentiles are turned to the Most High, but that we write unto them, and that they abstain from pollutions of idols, and from fornication, and from things strangled, and from blood. Right. Because if they're Israelites, you have to stop doing all of these things that you've been doing. Verse 21, for Moses of old time hath in every city them that preach him, being read in the synagogues every Sabbath day. Then pleased it the apostles and elders with the whole church to send chosen men of their own company to Antioch with Paul and Barnabas, namely Judas, surnamed Barsabbas, and Silas, chief men among the brethren. Right, so they sent out men to go preach to these new converts, if you will, these Gentiles, right, who were of the stock of Israel. Okay, it's not talking about the other nation people, okay, because that's why here in verse 21 you see for Moses of old time, okay, because who received the laws, the statutes and commandments? Only the Israelites. So that's who it's pertaining to, okay? That's real simple and easy. So let's go back up. I want to look at something else here. Let's go back to 15, and it reads, and to this agree the words of the prophets as it is written. So let's go to Amos. All right, as it is written. Amos 9, and we jump in right here, verse 11. And it reads the restoration of Israel, right? So here, Amos 9 and 11, it says, in that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David, that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. So that right there is what James is referring to, right here in verse 16. After this I will return and will build again the tabernacle of David, which is fallen down, and I will build again the ruins thereof, and I will set it up. So he's referring back to the scriptures, to the prophecies. You see? Going on to verse 12, it reads, that they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen which are called by my name, saith the Lord, that doeth this. Okay? So this is a promise from the Most High. Verse 13, behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the treader of grapes him that soweth seed, and the mountains shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt, and it will slack it. And I will bring again the captivity of my people of Israel, and they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. They shall also make gardens and eat the fruit thereof, and I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled up out of their land, which I have given them, saith the Lord Yahweh, thy power. See? So we have an inheritance that's coming to us, okay? And we are that tabernacle of King David, okay? But when the kingdom is set up, King David will be back, okay? So anyway, I found, like I said, this article was kind of interesting, and it just made me think of that, okay? That the truth is here, and they can't hide it any longer. The Lord has put the Spirit on them. They're gonna have to, hey, they're gonna have to give up everything that they've stolen, our identity, our land, all our treasures. It's gonna be coughed up, right? Nothing can stop the prophecies, okay? So with that, it's just a little light lesson. Like I said, I saw this article, and Lord willing, those who watch the video, you get something out of it, okay? And you can go on and read the chapters that we went into for yourself, and you get some more edification or more understanding out of it, okay? But with that, I'm not gonna make the lesson any longer. I'm gonna give all praise to the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, great millstone, shalom to the hopeful elect. I'll see you all again real soon with another lesson, Lord willing. Shalom.